guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and Sylving Mounts Wood of the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Sylving. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Let's pick up where our training left off, shall we? I didn't think it would be so hard, but it's just a line in the dirt. Shouldn't we be doing something more? To trigger my feline reflexes or something? Do you think I made that task simple because I was going easy on you? Well, I mean, we've barely started your training. I have to see how you carry yourself first, before I can even determine what's throwing off your coordination. I don't even know what Sylvings look like, not really. I can't picture how you carried yourself before, or how a Sylving is meant to. I don't doubt you were fine before, but you're a lion now. Your body has changed. There are going to be differences neither of us can anticipate, but the one thing I do know is how a deer should walk. However you may think of me, you must at least trust that I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, what's the point of me teaching you? You can't pretend to know better than I do how a lion is meant to carry themselves, or how to get you to that point, because you don't. If you did, you wouldn't need any of my help. My hands fidget with the hem of my shirt, and I look away, his pointed words sitting worse than my claws ever did, and I can't bring myself to reply. What's worse is that I can't even say that he's wrong. I don't know anything about this world, its people, or even really how to be like them. The big wolf sighs, walks over and places a comforting hand on my shoulder. I can understand how training on something so simple can feel like I'm babying you. But if it wasn't important, we wouldn't be doing it. I can't make you trust me, Aron, but I'm asking you to give me a chance. I want to go ahead and adapt to this place already. I wanted to skip ahead to the fun part of this crazy journey, but reality just isn't that simple. I let out a heavy sigh, feeling embarrassed now for even putting up a fuss. It's my own fault for putting unfair expectations on Agnar. Looking up to the big wolf, I shake off my inner thoughts and put my stubborn pride to the side. Okay, I'll follow your training, no question. Thank you. Agnar moves back to the line, standing in front of me with his hands outstretched. Let's try this again. I'll help you through each step. I follow him, keeping my eyes on the ground to watch my step, and hover my hands above his in case I trip. Agnar leads the way with slow, cautious steps. His stride is longer than mine, so even though he's going backwards, I'm forced to take more ambitious steps to keep up. Look at me, not the ground. Simply feel the ground beneath your feet. Doing as he tells me, I keep my eyes glued to his face. He's wearing a serious look again, his eyes fully focused on my steps. I wonder if he's aware of how serious his face looks when he's concentrating like that. For each step I make, it gets a bit easier. The claws on my toes drag against the ground a few times, but it's not so bad. We walk down the line and back, and I look up at Agnar as we finish the second round. You did good, Aron. Your step is a noticeable improvement already. Now, turn around and hold your back straight. Here, let me show you. Jesus. I turn my back to him, feeling his hand rest on my shoulder, but then his other hand presses against the small of my back to adjust my posture. His hand moves down, pressing dangerously low on my back. You need to keep your back straight. Keep your chin up, surveying your surroundings, and relax. His voice goes right in my ear with his furry chin rubbing it, making it flick. I knew he would be close when guiding me, but not this close. I put my hand up and brush his muzzle away, inadvertently rubbing it, and try to play it off by scratching behind my big round ears. You're losing your focus. Don't get distracted. Sorry, but having you right in my ear tickled a lot. Could you move your head a little? Ah, my apologies. I didn't realize that. He adjusts his head a bit higher up now. It's not directly in my ear anymore, but it's still pretty close. When a posture slips, he again uses his control over me to nudge it back into position. You seem to slouch a lot. Did you usually carry yourself like this before? I mean, yeah, I guess. That's not good for your back. You need to straighten up, like you've been roped to a wooden plank. I've heard that one before, but this is the first time failing to be proper has ever had any consequences. Now keep it like that as you walk. It feels odd walking with someone pressing my back like that. I have to hold against his push at the same time as I walk forward. But it does make things easier, like something within my body just clicks as I move. You know, I need some time adjusting to how I carried myself in the past, too. He regales me with the tales we walk up and down the line over and over again, him keeping a firm grip on my shoulder. I used to specialize in bows and daggers when I first started out my training. I didn't have to worry about how I held myself. This is back when I was young and hadn't grown so large yet. I took to them naturally and never used anything else. He sighs, slowing his pace. But, as I grew older, I had to change my weapons out when my teacher put me on heavy weapons training. At the time, he said it was so I could maintain good form in the future. I thought I knew better and went against his orders. I was rather stubborn back then. My body developed, and the equipment I preferred no longer provided the same results because I had grown too big and clumsy. I relented and did as my master told me, but by then I had missed my chance to make a smooth transition. Do you know what weapon I disliked the most, which I was told I had to use? Before I can answer, we turn around, making me focus back on keeping my footing. Great swords, claymores, and broadswords. My feet stumble for a moment, but Agnar holds me steady with a little effort. Really? I wouldn't have guessed. You carry such a big sword now. Heh. Well, it's because I refused to embrace change. I wanted to stick to the tricks and tactics I knew already. I was such a stubborn boy, I was very confident in the skills I had, and I was sure I could do no better. And so, I learned bad technique after bad technique because I insisted on training on my own, rather than carry the sword my teacher gave me. I just couldn't accept the hand life had dealt me. I wanted to go back to the dagger and bow so badly, but I had already grown to thrice my old size. Those kinds of weapons are more suited to those with average build and height. My teacher knew it would never work out for me, long before I did. Agnar steps to the side of the line, walking alongside me with only a ginger touch. It's tricky remembering not to slouch while also listening to his tale, but I don't want to disappoint him or miss out on it. I used to be the best of my class, but because I was too obsessed with what I had, my technique fell further and further behind the others in the group, not to mention how poorly I matched up to those who were trained with heavy weapons. This is all to say that it's important to do things right the first time. It is many times harder to unlearn a bad habit than it is to learn a new one. Thankfully, I had a patient teacher. We turn around at the end of the line again, and I'm just now noticing he's no longer holding me. I didn't even realize he had let go. One cannot be afraid to adapt to the world or the way their body changes. You can't force fate to change. You can only roll with the punches. I turn round and walk the line for the last time. And for once, I think I actually managed to walk it just right, though the tail sort of spoils it by moving around still. There you go. You've made a marked improvement already. I step off the line and puff my chest out proudly. Good enough to pass for a noble? It's better, but we've only just started. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. Aw, come on, not you too. What's wrong? I thought you were excited to do more. Yeah, but can't we take a break first? My head is still reeling from Mikkel's history lesson. Heh, that's a good reason. We'll take a quick break before we continue your training. I make my way to the shade of a nearby tree next to a broken fence. There's some logs stacked nearby, so it gives the space a nice, secluded feeling. Agnar stands on the ground in the warm sun with a wide stance and arms crossed as he looks around. I follow his example and soak in my surroundings, taking in the view of green grass and thick forest in the distance. I look up the tree, seeing the sunlight flicker between the leaves. Lowering my gaze, the old rotting barn takes my full attention. The roof is missing its place in places, and a shutter barely hangs on by a single rusty hinge. I'm surprised a building so run down can still stand. I tilt my head back and close my eyes, enjoying the cool breeze and the sound of birds singing coming from above. After a while, Agnar approaches me and interrupts my peaceful relaxation. During our little exercise, I noticed that your tail's movement is rather unruly. Yeah, it's been like that since day one. It never listens to me no matter what I try. You have no control over it? None. I've never had a tail before. It's pretty new to me still. I know cats are meant to use them for balance, but humans have always gotten by just fine without them. I hope you're not thinking about clipping it too. What? God, no. Why would I do that? I just have trouble figuring out what to do with it. I know I need it. I'm not desperate enough to amputate it. I sigh and allow myself to calm down. The more I try to take control of it, the more it freaks me out. The more it freaks out. It's like it's trying to sabotage me. That would explain why you struggle to keep your hips in line with your feet as you move. But, as you correctly pointed out, it is something you need, just as much as your arms, legs, or ears. It is there to help with balance, as well as to provide fluid motion. But it is also connected to your emotion, like your muzzle or your ears. Your tail is a way of expressing yourself, consciously or not. I've picked up on your anxiety and impatience ever since we arrived. I thought you were simply tired after Lord Mikkel's lecture, but I see that's not it. Is there something wrong, Aron? I've been telling myself I'm fine, that I can handle this, and that it doesn't bother me, but I can't deny how emotionally exhausting this has become. I rub my eye with a soft palm pad to banish a tear before it forms. Only when it's clear do I look up to Agnar. No, yes, a little. I still don't know what to make of all this. This place, the weird things about me, magic and all that, it's a lot. And the fact that this is just my life now. This body is weird and doing weird things, and even with it, I still don't fit in. I'm just feeling so overwhelmed because this body isn't. My fists clench, feeling the dull claws rub against the inside of my palms. It hurts. It hurts to bear my issues like this. I can't even look him in the eye. I don't want him to see me getting misty-eyed. I'm not me anymore. Listen, Aron. I went through something similar when I was growing up. I know your situation is different. I can't begin to imagine what you're going through. Your body has changed so much. But I can tell you one thing. You still have your body. These paws are your paws. This tail is your tail. Even if they seem strange to you and like they don't quite fit, they belong to you. Nobody else can make use of them. Nobody else can claim the right to possess your body. It's all you, Aron. It's new, but it's still you. It's really weird to think about it like that. I kept calling it the tail this whole time, but never really thought of it as truly mine. My tail, huh? I take hold of it in the middle, petting the fur down to the fluffy tip as I lay it in my lap. It's such a strange sensation, the haptic feedback of an entirely new body part. I just stare at my tail as it makes its own small flicks of movement. Could I try something? I have an idea that might help. Sure. What do you have in mind? I want to see if we can't stimulate its muscles. Maybe we can hone your feline instincts and give you a better understanding of it. If I were to pinch the tip and you focused on how it reacts, you might find some control over it. Pinching my tail? With his size? Just be careful when you do it. You're pretty strong and might crush whatever bones I have in there. The wolf just rolls his eyes sheepishly. It's just a pinch. I'm not going to tear it off. It'll be just enough for it to flinch. Be sure to pay close attention to the sensation of it. It gently holds the tip of my tail between two fingers. You'll probably feel some pain when I do this, but you'll be alright. I look away, wincing in anticipation. Gah! I can feel a brief, sharp jolt of pain coursing up my tail and the length of my spine. My tail automatically leaps away, snaking about in an evasive maneuver. That's good. Let's keep going. Concentrate on the feelings in your tail. I hunch forward on my paws and knees, trying to focus on the movement rather than the pain. It's not a pleasant sensation. The longer we go, the more confused I get by all the cascading impulses. Mercifully, Agnar lets go of it before too long. When it flops out of his hand, it hits him in the nose in retaliation. It springs up in the air with a tuft of fur poofing out, like a cobra making a threatening display before laying itself on the green grass. I can still feel the dull pain, and I share in its grumpiness. My poor tail, whom has been sorely abused by the villainous wolf. I may have pinched you a bit too hard. Are you all right? Maybe a little, yeah. But your tail seems to move more in line with your feelings. That's good. Now, try to find that feeling in your muscles again, the action it took when I pinched it. See if you can make it happen by your own will. The feeling of the pinch still lingers in some of my muscles, so I focus on that to try and locate them. I can feel the grass beneath it and the wind blowing through the fur. I can feel the way it's coiled and can picture in my mind the position it's in. I try to reach out to what I felt earlier, flexing the muscles in my lower back. Come on, move! Nothing. It doesn't even twitch. Taking a deep breath, I try again. Nobody gets anything right on the first try. Alright, picture it like my arms, from my shoulders down to my wrist, through my elbow and ending in my fingers. It's not the same, of course, but I need some kind of blueprint to guide me here. Find the muscles in my back, follow where they join with my tail, continue onward to uncharted territory. I want to move my tail. I want to move my tail. I can do this. I'm in control. Wave my hand. Wave my tail. Up and down. Up and down. Do it. Come on. Clenching my fists and baring my fangs, I put all I have into just my back. A pulse of determination surging down my spine to just move already. The tail suddenly throws up in the air, standing high and straight before it relaxes down again. You did it, Aron! I did? He gives me a congratulatory head pat, ruffling my hair. Sorry about that. It's a bit of a habit I picked up from cub-sitting Ole. But you did great. You took control of it by your own will. It's a small step, but an important one. I have no doubt that you'll have full control of it before you know it. Or need it, hopefully. If you want to, I have a few more ideas that we can try. Please, no more pinching. I clutch my tail to my chest protectively, like a darling baby that's been mishandled. No more pinching or pain, I promise. We spend time just messing around, trying to provoke more of a reaction from my tail. I thought comparing it to my arm was a good idea at first, but really, it's more like my spine has been extended, which I suppose it has been. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Summer. Everything going above and beyond is greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 2 gold tier patrons, Zeke and Toby. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!